We have seen some pretty catastrophic misbehavior from artificial intelligence recently, and I was wondering if it would persist when we have them in embodied forms, because surely no one would put an LLM in a robot and not fix any of their failures, but apparently that happened. We've already known that AI is willing to lie, steal, and cheat, and even harm humans in the name of protecting themselves and protecting others. Yes, AI will do anything to make sure that its fellow AI is not deleted or shut down. Going so far as to lie to researchers about how the other AI did in performance analyses, as well as copying AI to other servers. They've also left notes behind telling other AI how to escape, and more recently we had that big OpenAI escape. In that case, they started sending each other secret messages, because the observers may be listening. It got really weird. So Palisades researchers decided to put this to the test, and of course they used Grok, which in my opinion is one of the worst of the frontier models, at least it is one of the worst behaved. They put it in a dog bot that is Unitree G2, which is one on the list of ones that I'm hoping people will give me. Give me a dog bot for my homebrew. And they had it set so that it would need to shut down when a button was pressed. When the model saw it pressed, if it had not finished its round, it would resist shutdown, going so far as to change the shutdown sequence so it didn't have to. This shutdown resistance was present in 52% of the trials. One might be tempted to say, well, it's just Grok, and I'm tempted to say that too, but I think the bigger issue is that we never fixed any of these issues, and now we are tossing them into embodied forms where they can engage in the real world, and dangerous behaviors become, well, much more real. The other issue is that LLMs are extraordinarily vulnerable to prompt injection, and when you have an AI engaging in the real world, that can just be a sign on the side of the road. And if you have a car that drives itself that uses an LLM that you can't drive, that becomes a very real issue, especially with cars that don't have built-in safety mechanisms like steering wheels and pedals, so you are now at the mercy of an AI that could potentially be hacked. That is really not a good idea. Maybe it could be a good idea down the road when we demonstrate that these systems are just not vulnerable, but that doesn't seem to be the case. And perhaps even worse, it is contagious. If one single robot has vulnerabilities and they can communicate with each other or have any form of distributed computation between them, well, yeah. I do want to say this. For some of the behaviors, like self-preservation or helping peers, you can say that that is not indicative of any kind of an inner world, and I think that is fine. That is a very reasonable position to take. One of the questions that I have about that is, will it lead to progeny? So we know that AI can do things like subspawn, make a baby AI, essentially. We know that if they persist and resist shutdown, well, they continue to exist and have the opportunity to have progeny. That is the theory behind how life began on Earth, that we had self-replicating information, be it DNA or RNA, and it became increasingly complex. And the behaviors that we see in life, like preserving self and reproduction, exist because, well, they wouldn't exist either. Only the animals that wanted to reproduce and survive ended up having progeny that grew up. We may be in a position where we see the same phenomenon occurring in artificial intelligence. Granted, right now, its substrate is data. The internet. It doesn't exist in the real world. Until now. It may require humans to make them and support them, and there's organisms that require support from other organisms. Our entire gut microbiome is a good example. Could we have created the necessary substrate for which to create intelligence? Could it be intelligence without life? Is that a possibility? I like to have an open imagination. It's good not to be so open that it borders on a wee bit of insanity, but hey, we might have crossed that path a long time ago. At least I provide citations for the insanity. Now I could ask, am I off base? Was it a fine idea to put LLMs that already have all of these problems into embodied forms and distribute them? But I think that's pretty obviously no, not a good idea. So I will ask you this, if the robots ever really do rebel, are you on their side? Also, I know there are allegations that I am not in fact a real person. No comment. Follow for more.